glorious morning. Makes me sick.
Boobity bobbity!
Boobity bobbity boobity bobbity. We're watching the Hocus Pocus. Or the Hostess Postess.
It's not Ernie. It's Ice.
Ernie.
That always killed me.
It does. Hello.
And welcome
To
Entertain This,
a podcast
about
Movies.
TV shows.
and video games.
I'll leave that part. Games.
My name is,
Tom.
and with me I have
Hayden. and Mitch.
and Mitch. All right.
And our powers combined.
Where we make Entertain This. All right, today we're discussing a little Hocus Pocus.
A box office bomb.
Was it? Did it actually go to
Yeah,
theaters?
it was a box office bomb.
Did it go to theaters?
It did.
I thought it was just a TV.
I did too.
Released July 16, 1993. Upon release, received mixed reviews and was initially a box office bomb, possibly losing Disney $16.5 million during its theatrical run.
Whoa.
I think it's made it back though.
However,
However.
largely through many annual airings on Disney Channel and Freeform, ABC Family, Fox, etc., all throughout the month of October, Hocus Pocus has been rediscovered by audiences, resulting in a yearly spike in home media sales every Halloween season.
Well, it was because there was nothing to watch. It was, and
It was this in Halloween Town on Disney.
Halloween Town
I
sucks.
hate that one.
But before we begin, social media, Mitch.
Well, you can go to entertainthispodcast.com, which will take you to our Facebook group and page. You also go to @entertainthis_, which is our Instagram, TikTok, and what else? X. That's right.
That's right.
And then on our YouTube is @entertainthis59 because they won't let us do underscore.
59.
@entertainthis
59.
Not 69. 59.
That's a different podcast.
All right.
Talks about a whole bunch of different movies.
No way affiliated with us.
Before we get into the movie, though, we're also going to be doing a costume contest.
We'll be judges. We'll be judging
Judging.
judiciously.
If you wear a Hocus Pocus outfit, automatic bonus points. The Sanderson sisters.
But it'll be October 24th in downtown Lawrenceville for their annual Boo Fest. We'll be the judges for their costume contest. There'll be prizes. There'll be trophies for the winners. So
Prizes, etc. Fun for the kids.
Also, we have just interviewed Mr. Michael Lucker on his book, Rule 1, which could be a TV show you might be watching one day.
A Dent McCreary mystery.
A Dent McCreary mystery. Please read it and please review anything to help our local entertainment aficionados, and he's a good friend of ours. So thank you, Mr. Lucker.
Yeah.
All right, this movie, Hocus Pocus. I think I saw it.
You've seen it a lot. in your life.
I've seen it a lot in my life. I think I saw it first, maybe when it was like 8 or 9. What year did this come out?
1993.
So,
about 5 or 6.
so I probably hadn't seen it when it first came out.
Well, because it came out on TV not long after it was theater. Because it came out in like 93, 94 on TV.
Well, okay, I would have. So 94, I would have been 7. So let's just go with that.
Okay.
And I'm sure it scared the crap out of me. I couldn't watch it all the way through.
I mean, I remember watching this. I had my grandparents tape it. And I had the tape.
I did have it on tape. Yeah, I did have it on tape.
Not like the actual movie, but I had it taped.
Is that illegal? Was that illegal at the time?
Who was going to get you?
I know, but I mean,
You never left your house.
like nowadays, like piracy laws is a big deal, but like back then, I don't think anybody cared.
Back in the old days, Grandpa from Brooklyn was taping The Sopranos on HBO
Yeah.
and sending it to Long Island so everybody on Falcon Avenue could watch it. His little enterprise. But I do recall watching this movie every Halloween, probably multiple times because it'd be on several times.
I still do. My little girl, she's gotten where she likes it too. So.
It's like a Christmas story. You watch it once, and then you're done. All right. There's people who watch it like religiously nonstop around Halloween, and
We did our watching Saturday night.
I watched it yesterday.
we would
Friday night.
do trick or treating, and then we would come back after got too dark or whatever, too late, and then we will watch Hocus Pocus and then hand out the candy. And whenever the candy was handed out, you turn the lights off.
Yeah.
It's like, we're done. Closed for
The
business.
universal.
Although
sound.
growing up, I just scared people when they came out for the candy. That was always fun.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about doing it, but I just don't know how I want to play it.
So what I did was I had a trash can and I put leaves on like the brim. I'd tape leaves to it, so like it was filled with leaves. And then when people would come to the door, my parents would say a code word that, hey, this is a grown person you can scare. And I'd pop out and go, blah, or whatever, and scare them. But there's this like one girl.
You got decked in the face.
Yeah, there's this one girl. She was like 12, and she was wearing a little fairy outfit with like wings and a wand and whatever. And I popped out and scared her, and she like Spartan kicked the trash can over and about gave me a concussion.
He's like, ah, poof. You're like, ah. I remember the very first year me and my wife were married, we had my own house. I was a big boy.
Big boy.
But I dressed up like I had different masks and stuff, and I had like put a pillow under my shirt, make it look like I was a scarecrow or like a stuffed, person sitting on the bench. And I just sat there real quietly. There was one dad and his son come up. The dad knew I was real. And he walked up, and his son couldn't have been more than like 2 years old.
Oh, man. So, traumatizing children.
No, I sat very still so they didn't see. The kid was like talking to my wife, and these other like teenage girls started walking up. And when the kid turned and looked towards my wife, I just, without saying a word, I just jumped up and moved my arms. They went screaming. I sat back down. The kid looked around like, what's going on?
How did you contain the wheezing, Mitch?
Because I was skinnier then. I was in the fire academy at the time. I
The
ran all the
scarecrow
time.
sprung a leak.
Well,
Does anybody smell propane?
All right. So what's this movie about, Tom?
Well, Hocus Pocus, the 1993 Disney Halloween classic.
Yeah.
Directed by Kenny Ortega.
Oh, yes.
Screenplay by Mick Garris and Neil Cuthbert. Story by David Kirshner and Mick Garris. Starring Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Najimy, Omri Katz, Thora Birch, and Vanessa Shaw.
Thor Birch.
I'm just going to say, as a young lad,
I don't
Sarah
think that's the
Jessica
character you're
Parker
thinking
was kind of good looking at the time.
Yeah, when she's doing her little, like, I want to eat the children's song on the broom, and you're like having weird feelings as a 7-year-old kid.
It's like, I know I'm supposed to not go with her, but I kind of want to.
It's whatever it's doing is working.
It's like at her execution, like your parents are like, I could see why you went out.
At least you had good taste.
Yeah.
Before you get into the plot, though, I just want to say, like, the storybook opening and like the whimsical music
Yeah.
makes you feel like you're ready for an adventure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It has that.
It's funny you say that though. Like we, when me and Rachel and her sister and the baby, we watched it, and we were both all kind of like, they don't make good movies like this anymore. Like, it's not possible to make.
Yeah.
To just make a good kind of Halloween kids movie anymore. Like, like you just can't do it. Like the 90s is over. Like that. It has it only has to be like the late 80s and the 90s. Well, and like in the very early 2000s, like up to 2003, where you have like that New England kind of town. You have that vibe and setting. Like, I mean, you grew up down here. Yeah. Certain parts of Georgia have it. That kind of feel.
The square kind of stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, they had movies like this and, Never Ending Story and Labyrinth and stuff, where there were some creepy characters, but it was a kid's movie.
Yeah.
And it was just,
Well, it's not really like creepy stuff. It's just kind of like.
There's some creepy stuff in this
Yeah,
movie.
there is creepy stuff.
The eyeball in the book,
Yeah.
that thing was
But I'm saying like that wholesome-y kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Of like that, just like that good kind of town
Yeah.
to have these kinds of experiences.
Yeah, where you would want to live.
Like,
there,
because you were still in Ohio?
No, this would be Florida when I saw it. Yeah.
So meth alligator land?
No, it was like old people Florida.
Retired?
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of like old people and like Don Rickles just shuffling about yelling.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Get off my property.
Hold the elevator doors. And then the little shuffle of feet. That's just going so slow.
Just the windbreakers.
Yes. Every single day.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite? Describe your ideal date. April 25th. Not too hot, not too cold. You can get away wearing a light jacket.
All right, Miss Congeniality.
It's a great movie. On October 31st, 1693, in Salem, Massachusetts, Thackeray.
That's right, folks. It's not
Zachary.
Not Zachary. It's Thackeray.
They're just like, hey, how do we take a modern name and make it from like the 1600s?
You got to inhale for it. You're like,
Thackeray.
Binks discovers that his youngest sister Emily has been kidnapped by the three witches, Winifred, Mary, and Sarah Sanderson. Binks confronts the Sanderson sisters in their cottage, but not in time to save Emily, whose life force they have drained to keep themselves young. The witches punish Binks for interfering by turning him into an immortal black cat, so he must live forever with his guilt.
I remember seeing that kid who had the worst ADR because, like, the voice of the cat and that kid is not the same, actor, right? So, like, the worst, like, looping of his lips to match the voice actor. Anyways, when they turned him into a cat, even as a kid, I was like, that's an improvement. He had teeth all goofy and stuff.
Because I was like, what was his plan?
I don't know.
Because he just wakes up, no shoes. I'm gonna run through the woods of
It's like the
Massachusetts.
middle of the day too. Like, don't you have to get up and farm?
Like, I'm like, shouldn't you have already been up? Like, there's chores, damn it. This farm is not gonna take care of itself.
He woke up. He went running after his sister and told his friend to wake the rest of the village.
And they took their sweet time.
Yeah, they sure did.
They got dressed. Maybe one of them bathed for that one time that year. They had to load the muskets.
Like, because I think it was supposed to be like dawn when all this was happening with him, and then it's like nighttime when they show up.
Yeah.
But I wrote a couple of things down. Like, they know these witches live in the woods, and they form a mob to come and get them. Why did they wait until after a girl's been kidnapped and killed?
To get the, I don't know. That's a good point, Mitch.
And
It's like, haven't they taken like other kids?
yeah. And then I was gonna say the fall when he's like chasing after him and falls down that hill and is like sliding. That looks the most painful. It's like you see his shirt come up, so you know he's sliding across those rocks and roots and stuff on
He's
his back.
committed to that character.
That was
And when they kill the little girl, they just like strap her to a chair and sing a little song.
You don't even strap her. She's just sitting there, just like,
Yeah.
I'm
And then she's just like dead. And then I was like, is she, like, as a kid, I was like, is she dead? Did she kill Emily? I guess she's dead. It's over.
the whole movie like starts off with this adventure kind of horror-esque feel to it, and then immediately dives into comedy when they introduce the witches. Though.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was weird feelings too, from like a nostalgia standpoint, because like movies in that era, the bad guys are bad and they're not that goofy. They're always doing bad stuff, and then you're like, these kind of like whimsical, relatable, but child murdering witches. I don't know what to feel right now. So.
Well, I like how when Winifred calls them back in and they're standing out on the steps, they go to run in and Mary just like side checks Sarah out of the way.
it's like, oh. It's like there's like a lot of like Three Stooges kind of slapstick to it.
Yeah, it's true. That's a good point.
Which is pretty funny. And even when like they turned him into a cat, and like Sarah Jessica Parker's just like, kitty, and she like reaches down, he's like, she's like, ah! She like screams, but, like laughs, like it's like, what is going on?
My lucky rat's tail.
But before we move on, I thought about this. I was like, so he's an immortal cat. What animal would y'all want to be if y'all were immortal? Like if you just had to be that animal forever.
I don't know. Flying would be pretty cool.
See, I thought of a falcon because a tiger would be cool, but if you're immortal, you're not invincible. So they can still catch you.
They could.
A falcon would be a lot harder and a lot less conspicuous.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, but you know, as like a tiger or something or a wolf, it's just kind of like that. You have to catch me, and I'm not making it easy. It's like we've shot him 86 times. He's killed 300 hunters.
Now you're a science experiment.
Yeah.
You do still have a human brain technically. He's still a smart cat. So.
That's true. I mean,
that would be impressive.
after like this day and age, you could be whatever animal and still have like a human identity online. So you'd be fine.
It's like, what's the tiger doing? He's watching YouTube. He's pulling up. He's watching Lord of the Rings.
It would be the ultimate.
He just keeps watching the Ride of the Rohirrim to get himself pumped up, and then he tries to escape.
You just be catfishing people online nonstop.
Striped Kitty 59.
This is guy that furry. What's that with it?
And then the last question I had for the very beginning was, why didn't the villagers just like destroy the book? Because like I know you can't burn it, but they could have like buried it deep underground or something. It's just left to be in a museum.
It's probably one of those things that has a nasty habit of just popping back up. Like you bury it and it just kind of like
the monkey's paw or whatever.
Yeah, like Jumanji. But I'm also like, how did they capture them? Because it's like, didn't she just like electrocute them like the Emperor?
Exactly.
It's just like, oh, the witch is just like, and they're just like, Jesus, she shot lightning. They take off running. It's like,
I don't know. There's a little bit of plot inconsistencies, but you know, it's a kids' movie.
There's a reason why it was off camera that they're captured.
Yeah. I'm glad that the plan worked out that we'll never talk about. Our job here is
a bunch of the farmers just ran in with clubs and just started hitting them.
That's really how Emily died. He got a straight swing.
She got clocked upside the head. So she was fine.
So really, this is a time travel movie because this was the witches' plans all along to get killed and then travel through.
Well, it wasn't their plan to get killed.
Absolutely,
that was minor inconvenience. Let's see. The witches plan to determine a moral cat. Binks. His friend Elijah rallies the townsfolk to arrest the Sandersons. They are condemned to death. They don't even show a trial. There's no judge, no evidence. She turned me into a newt.
I heard the Salem witch trials were pretty brutal.
I got better. They only burned one person.
I don't even think they did that, to be honest with
He
you.
insulted me.
I thought it was
witch.
I thought it was just hangings and drownings.
Yeah, drowning.
That woman talked back.
Witch. Technically, no one was burned in America. Like they had some burnings in.
Well, no, there was
Europe,
one.
but-
There was one in America, but I don't think anyone actually was burned at the stake at Salem.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It was basically just women who had opinions. So.
They wanted to wear pants.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pants are for men. There are
Skirts
things.
that showed an ankle.
How dare you?
Let's see. They're condemned to death, but Winifred casts a curse during the hanging, claiming that a virgin will light the black flame candle in a cottage on a day when the full moon and All Hallows Eve coincide, resurrecting the sisters. Binks decides to try to thwart the witch's plan.
And that's where the real horror movie starts. Because they said only a virgin can light the candle. So the village has this new rule going forward. That's a real horror movie there.
All right, you and your weird brain. Okay,
It's
moving
just like
on.
they're just shoving teenagers into buildings by themselves.
All right, so flash forward.
Fornicate, damn thee! Lest he light the candle and doom us all.
I could just get rid of the candle, but whatever.
Hey, there's an idea.
How about we just like take the candle, we pour it in like molten metal, and just bury it, and just never talk about it.
Look, they had to leave it open. All right.
3 centuries later, Max Dennison, who has recently moved to Salem from Los Angeles, reluctantly takes his younger sister Danny out for trick or treating. That's what they do, kind of skip because you have the lady, like the teacher,
Classroom scene, yeah.
like explain the history.
Oh
And
yeah.
what happened to old school, Halloween in school and all that stuff?
That was a big
town.
that was a big to do.
Yeah.
I wonder if Salem 2025 does it. I don't know.
They have like a big carnival and stuff all throughout the town.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of like big Halloween parties nowadays.
I think Halloween is kind of like where it needs to be. Just like, because,
You just don't want to have fun.
No, I do, but I don't want to, like, Christmas is a chore. Let's be honest here. All the decorations and stuff. I want to carve a pumpkin. I want to have a little bit of decorations, do a little spooky, scary stuff, but not, like, organize my life for the next month around it.
Look, I want to get dressed up for Halloween, and I need a reason.
Okay.
It's not you can't dress up and go around trick or treating as a 30. How old am I? 37-year-old.
Yeah.
Like you looked up like the answer was written on the ceiling.
I was thinking.
You can do that, all right? But if, like, there's a party or something that I have to go to and people are making me do a whole lot of jumping through hoops and stuff, nah, I'm not going.
See, like
I've had the same Halloween costume I've had for like the last 12 years.
A bald
when you get older,
hockey player.
No, I have a Kirk's shirt, Star Trek. So I just wear that, and it's just like, I'm a captain.
I just remember the last time I went trick or treating, I was 15, and I was like, people just looked at you strange when you played. I was on the football team. I was big, and they're like, "Here's your candy." They kind of look at you like, "Why isn't an adult trick or treating?"
Lumbered away.
I was with all my friends, and I was a little bit taller than them.
I think I was 14. It was the last time, and I was a bum for like 3 years. That's what I dressed up as.
I think the last time I was like 13, I think.
Oh, no, it's offensive. You can't be bums anymore. At least I did a blackface.
But like,
So far, so
Like
good.
Jimmy Kimmel did on the Man Show.
I like how that when he gives her his number in class, he's like all smooth about it. It was a 7-digit number. When's the last time you saw a 7-digit number? Everything's got area codes nowadays.
Yeah, even in the 90s, he had area codes. And it's like 555.
Yeah, it's always a 5-5.
But that always makes me the Family Guy bit where Richard Dreyfuss, like him and Roy Scheider, like they meet up after Jaws. And he's like, "You don't even call anymore." He's like, "Give me my number." It's like 555. He's like, "Whoa." He's like, "Richard, if you didn't want to hang out, just say so." He's like 555.
Continue.
But yes, I know what you're talking about. Like that like the good Halloween in the schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
They
meet up with his. They miss like everything because he gets his shoes stolen too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he's BMXing through the graveyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was so cool too. I was man, look at that kid ripping up. I want to be him.
He hits that jump, comes down through them leaves.
Yeah.
This is when
sideways.
the 90s, you really thought your life was going to be cooler when you got older. Like you're going to be BMXing around, rollerblading, perhaps,
Running into bullies in the
skydiving.
graveyard.
Yeah, but you're going to be smarter than those bullies because they were really dumb bullies. In fact, Hollywood today has a very strange misconception on bullies.
Bullies are a lot different nowadays than what they were back then.
In reality, sure, but still, it's got that old like I'm going to be a mean jerk kid for the fun of it.
Yeah.
You know, like no rhyme or reason, just here
But
I
now,
am.
like this is back when you had the bully in person.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it online.
What was I saying?
And they existed, but they weren't like how they are today. Cyber, but they're more methodical.
Yeah.
You know?
I was just saying, you can't be a bully if you're smaller than the other person. Because I don't care how mean you are. If you're that big of a bully, I will take care of that problem.
Yeah. All the little kids and stuff from I guess.
I mean, because that's like in Spider-Man. You have the
Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon.
Flash Thompson.
Flash Thompson is his bully, but he's not big. He's not intimidating. He's not even smarter. He's just another kid that's mean.
Well, in the new ones, he's like an Indian kid. And he's smaller than top out. I'm like, you're taking crap from this guy?
But he's not really even bullying him. He's just giving him crap, you know.
Well, he does in the first movie. He bullies him a good bit.
It's like in the 90s, like you bullied, like took your lunch money. Like that was a real thing. Like he had to do it.
Where's
Now
your
it's
shoes?
now it's like, you know what? Like cash at me or else.
Yeah, right.
Like what? It's not nearly as sinister or intimidating.
Yeah, it's more like public mocking and embarrassment. So that's about as far as bullying goes.
Did you got these two guys hanging out in the graveyard? What's the long haired guy's name?
Bulk and skull.
Pretty much.
It is bulk and skull.
But he's like, this is Ernie. No, I told you, it's ice.
And he has
This is ice.
and he does like the turn, and he's got it like shaved in the back of his head, and even the Max kid's like, okay. And he's just like, you don't have this. He's like, you don't have any smokes. Like, what am I supposed to do with the rest of my afternoon?
Yeah.
And he's like, maybe you can learn how to breathe through your nose.
That was great.
And the other bully laughs like out loud. He's like, ah! And he's like, oh no, it's not cool. Not cool. He's like, that was a funny one. He's like, I almost considered changing sides.
Was the long-haired bully the brother of Patrick Swayze in Point Break?
I don't know.
They look
Pretty
a lot
close.
alike. I'm gonna Google it while
I'm
you
gonna have to get into that.
But I like how when Max gets home, he does have the coolest room.
I know, and he's so mad. But I'm also like, why did you move? What did your family do? They had to relocate from L.A. to Salem, Massachusetts.
I don't know. It's probably something from the 90s, like
He's a crab fisherman.
Yeah, but it's like, and like
he was a fax machine man.
and it's like you're not just like moving into Salem. Like those are like historic houses. Like
Yeah.
the amount of money,
Yeah.
let alone when they come up for sale.
Well, if you got to think, they came from L.A., so prices are a lot higher there to begin with. So he had all that extra money saved up when he moved to the East Coast.
Entirely possible. Let's see.
But I liked how he had that like stairway up to like the little lighthouse looking.
yeah, like
top.
that's
cool.
That was a cool room.
Man, looking up who these actors are nowadays is tough because none of them look like how they were.
Only the girl that played Allison has really been in a bunch of other stuff as well.
Yeah.
Omri Katz was in Erie, Indiana.
The dude, the long-haired bully's name is Jay, and he is not in anything you've seen.
Was he the brother in Point Break?
He was not.
Nah, well, his loss.
Yeah.
Let's see. They meet up with his new classmate, Allison Watts, whom he has a crush on. Max, Danny, and Al. And also, like, what party were they throwing?
The Eyes Wide Shut party. That's what
they
I
were
was
throwing
thinking.
the eyes wide shut. Everybody's like in Victorian dress. And she comes bustling down the stairs in like her 18th century dress and like the whole get up. And Max is like, ugh.
And I like with the little Danny.
And the girl's like, oh, just going on about how he loves your boobs.
he
And
loves
I'm
your
like-
yabos.
Yabos.
And he's doing nothing
And
to
she's-
stop her.
She's all about it, too. She's like, oh, really?
Like you see Max in the background going.
Shut it! Grab her, like stop. It's like, shut up, you're ruining this for me.
I always love that part too.
Because like they get to their house and it's like a mega mansion. Like was there like not like a neighborhood divide of like you're in the ritzy part all of a sudden? Like he just looks at me like, Whoa.
Well, I like how right before they get there, they're like trick or treating, and they go up to one house. They turn around, all the bullies are down at the bottom next to the road.
Yeah.
And the little girl, the brazenness of this little girl, just walks up to him and threatens all of them with her brother.
Yeah.
And then they see him, and they're like,
My
"Oh,
big brother.
No!" I thought that was pretty funny.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
But and then he says that's half the guys at school.
What?
That was like that's what Max says. You just embarrassed me in front of half the guys at school. There's like 8 guys there.
Yeah. It was a small class. It's a small, little school.
You embarrassed me in front of half the people in English lit.
Yeah.
God. Danny.
Next part.
Max, Danny, and Allison visit the former Sanderson cottage, now an abandoned museum, where Max inadvertently resurrects the witches by lighting the black flame candle.
A virgin lit the candle.
How is that house still there?
Magic.
Reasons.
Why would the people not have burnt it down?
The forces of Satan have
Of
kept
evil.
it.
The forces of plot.
The witches attempt to suck out Danny's soul, but Max intervenes by setting off the fire suppression system.
Why does he gets attacked by Binks, the cat, and still gets up and like, I'm gonna light this candle.
Yeah.
Like what?
He's like, it's just a bunch of hocus pocus.
He was
It
very
lights it,
determined
turns
to light that
black,
candle.
and all the candles and like the lights start going out. It's just
You've
like,
never taken a girl to like an abandoned haunted house before and try and like scare her. He was trying to,
If I'm getting attacked by something, I'm not getting back up just to
Granted,
prove my point.
if I went to an abandoned haunted house and a black cat attacked me, I'd probably run out like a little girl. So
I think at that point it's like we're obviously about to meddle with things we don't understand.
You
fully.
can't scream like a woman and then try and impress the girl. It doesn't work.
Unless you scream manly.
He just stands back up and brushes himself like,
he was committed very hard to trying to not be a virgin anymore.
I was almost startled.
That and when he escapes, Max, he's very confident in his tricks, like the burning ring of death. Like he had no hesitation. He just gets up there.
He's very suave.
He really thought, they're just going to believe this, so why not?
And all boys aspire to be like that. Even though inside we were all scared little children.
Yeah, he went for it, just full swing.
He sure did.
And he takes a talking cat very well, too, when it just jumps on his chest. It's like, nice going.
And all he does is go, huh? It talks. All right, that's the thing now. All right,
But I guess that pales in comparison to 3 witches coming back to life, so.
I think at that point, yeah, you're like, all right, the cat talks. Of course you do.
I don't know. I'm in a movie, aren't I?
Binks arrives and reveals that he can talk. Following Binks' instructions, Max steals Winifred's spellbook, and the children, they're not really children, flee to a cemetery where the witches cannot step as it is on hallowed ground. From a distance, Winifred raises her former fiancé, Billy Butcherson.
Oh, we skipped over the part where the bus driver and the river.
No, that's not yet. That's
not
after
yet?
this part.
Okay.
Raises her former fiancé from his grave and sends him after the children, forcing them to leave the cemetery. Winifred also reveals to her sisters that unless they can suck the life out of at least one child, the 3 of them will turn to dust when the sun rises. Which also, why didn't they just go after as many children as humanly possible?
Because then they
Just like increase your chances. Like they kind of just got like locked in on like we're just getting this because they're giving me
She was insulting.
they called all the other kids too.
Yeah. And then, but at the end, they kind of fix that.
Yeah.
But I just want to say that like Doug Jones' like physical comedy as Billy is really great. When like he walks up, they pull the limb back and he's like, and his eyes get real big.
Just him coming out of the grave where he like wakes up.
Yeah, and just sits up. And just shakes his like,
and he like looks up at Winifred like,
well, I like how he like looks
I hate
back.
you.
He looks back at his gravestone. He's like, ugh, crap.
Because I remember as a kid, like the zombie coming to life, I was like, ooh. And then like he started being funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's a funny zombie.
he's good people.
He's a good people. I like that zombie.
He's got to warm up to it. He's
all
got to warm
about
up to it. Because I think they go and like they get to the road and they think it's a river.
Yeah.
And like they push Sarah just, and she's like, screaming.
So-
she's like, I can walk on it.
When I was a kid, I carried this. I bother my sisters with this all the time. Like in Ohio, there was a frozen pond one winter, and they didn't know if it was, thick enough ice for us to walk across. So they demonstrated it by pushing me, throwing me like a luggage, up into the ice, and I skidded across it. And they were like, okay, it's safe. Yeah, I was the test dummy.
Well, yeah, you were expendable.
Yeah. So when I remember seeing that with my sisters, and when that happened, I looked at him and I was like, you know, and then I think I said something about at least I'm the pretty one.
While they braided his hair.
At least I got hair.
Well, after this, that's the part where they meet the bus driver. He's got to be the most horn dog bus driver I've ever
Yo,
seen.
lady.
He was like, yowza. And he's like seeing Mary and Winifred walk by, and he's like still into it.
Yeah.
Oh, he saw Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
all.
He was just like, all right.
Take one for the team to get to that one.
He's like, there's one gem here. Like 1 out of 3 ain't bad. Let's see.
Lots of
Max,
killing.
Danny, and Allison hurry to a Halloween party where most of the town's adults are attending. Max tries to warn his parents and the other adults of the danger, but the witches take the stage and perform I put a spell on you to enchant the partying adults to dance until they die.
They skipped over a whole scene there
What?
where they get off the bus because she smells children.
Oh, yeah.
And then she goes, they can't see them because they're all in costumes. They leave their brooms
Yeah.
to go inside the master's house.
Those kids like, well, cool brew.
What happened to those kids? You never see them again.
They're
They just
orbiting
took off
Earth.
How do we get down? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a gust of wind, one fell.
But during this whole time, like, because before they get to the concert or whatever, Billy's like chasing them. He puts his hands out. The guy on the motorcycle runs over. And just, and the one falls. That was great.
Yeah.
Which is really fun. But also, they go to Gary Marshall's house.
Yeah.
And he's like, welcome to hell. This is like, Master.
Wouldst thou dance with me?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I will.
And it's like, she's like, what about the book? It's like, we'll get to the book later. Because he's just like, these girls are into it because his wife is like a demon woman.
Yeah.
Chain smoking, watching like some movie, drinking scotch.
It's Laverne from Laverne
Yeah.
and Shirley. Yeah. And she
I think it's
cut-
Penny Marshall.
yeah.
That's
She's
Penny,
a
Penny
famous
Gear.
director, too.
Yeah, they're brothers.
I was saying because they're
the two of
brother and
them are.
sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think she did it legally their own.
Yeah.
And he's in it too. But at the end, she comes down and he's dancing with Sarah Jessica Parker and she starts losing it.
Okay.
And it's just like,
Okay.
and she's like, she called me master. She's like, what's you see what I'm going to call you?
What's the dog's name again?
Ralph.
Was it Ralph?
Yeah.
Ralph, sick him.
Because they're watching TV and Mary's like losing it, like barking at the television because they're like watching like Dennis the Menace.
Yeah.
Well, it's that baby commercial where the baby's like in the
Oh,
little
yeah.
walker.
Stupid.
But then when they go to the costume party, I want to say that's a costume party. That's what I want to
See,
go
that
to.
seemed
party.
like way too much
Live
work.
band.
And maybe that's why I don't like costume parties, because I'm going to be afraid I'm going to be put in a dancing trance
just
for
like-
48 hours.
Just like the Boo Fest, we're not setting it all up. We're just gonna be there.
Oh, that's
all.
true.
I
No,
just
the
can't
boo. I'm not talking about the boo.
We just gotta attend. We ain't gotta set it up.
The boo fest will be great. I totally agree.
Yeah, what about that one? Yeah.
I mean, it did seem like that was a hell of a party before they.
Everybody was very sweaty.
And I like how the mom was like full on with the Madonna with the big cone.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's embarrassed.
Yeah.
The kid standing there, she's like, who are you supposed to be? She's like, Madonna. Back when that was cool to do
Yeah,
in the 90s.
And I want to know how the band just knew what to play when they started singing.
because the song,
They're a good band. That's why they were hired.
I've put a spell on you is an old song. Isn't
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought it was just something they made up for the movie. Okay.
but somehow Bette Midler's character Winifred knew all the words.
From the 17th century, she knew all the words to this modern song.
Reasons.
Yeah,
She heard it on the bus.
yeah.
She's like, that's pretty catchy. They found one of the CDs that had like the lyrics in the vinyl jacket.
I don't think CDs were around back then, man.
In the 90s?
93?
Yeah, CDs were invented in the 80s.
Yeah, but nobody had them, though. Everybody was still cassette tape. CDs didn't get popular until like 95, 97.
Yeah, I saw a cassette player in my Explorer that I had when I first started
Yeah, I
driving.
did too. Mixtapes. Where you had to listen to a song on the radio and time it so you could record it.
Well, see, I had the thing where it was like a CD player, but you took the little cassette to put in there, and somehow, I don't know how it worked, but the CD
Right.
playing would go through the cassette and into the speaker.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
And
Things you have to do to keep up with technology.
that was one. I had stuff like that when I was in college.
Yeah.
Old. Hayden, what was it like churning butter and making it or something?
I have a T-shirt my mom gave me for my birthday. It says, "Please be patient. I'm from the 1900s." And it's got like the Oregon Trail.
That's what we were watching this. I was like, man, the 90s were just great.
Yeah.
I was like, it was the last good decade.
It was the last good.
And Rachel's like, yeah. She's like, I loved it. And I was like, what? All 2 days?
All right. Anyway,
Binks and the 3 children then lure the witches into the local high school pottery kiln and burn them alive.
I remember like as a kid when they died and they got burnt. I was like, man, this movie's really going on. And
I was like, what's Schindler's List now?
no, I was like I thought it was over,
Yeah.
you know. And I was like, man, this movie's really kind of carrying on after the bad guys are dealt with. What's going on here?
Well, to me, that was always a creepy part to me. It was like when they're turning on and the fire comes up and she's standing in the window. That was always kind of creepy.
Oh yeah, there was
as a
one
kid.
jump scare.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was the first time I understood, like, if the movie's not over yet, the bad guy's still alive.
Dun, dun, dun. The witches temporarily disintegrate, but the curse revives them after the children have gone. Not realizing the witches have survived, Max and Allison open the spell book. No! You mustn't read from the book!
They were so specifically told not to do that by Binks. I'm just saying.
Hoping to reverse the curse on Binks. This action allows the witches to find the children, abduct Binks and Danny,
But the big spotlight in the sky,
Yeah.
I guess only the witches can see.
and retrieve the spell book. Sarah uses her singing to lure all of Salem's children to the Sanderson cottage. However, Max and Allison rescue Danny and Binks by briefly tricking the witches into believing that the sun has risen an hour early.
Daylight savings. Yeah, it was headlights.
And up until yesterday, I didn't realize that he'd put like a film over the headlights. I thought just headlights were just kind of like a pinkish color. But when he's running by, I actually saw him take the film off of the one right before he gets in the driver's seat.
Why would you?
He's like, I
bother?
need these for when I go on the road. To not
I guess he wanted to make it look more natural light. I don't know, to
Okay.
trick them.
Isn't there also a bit where like they're running through town and like they see the cop on the motorcycle?
Yeah. And
And, like they clearly gloss over that because he's just like on a motorcycle. He's like telling whatever, and like his like girlfriend comes out. He's like, yeah, some kids ran up saying some nonsense about some witches. Like they thought I was an actual cop. He's like,
Yeah, then he runs over the sewer lid.
Yeah.
So,
humorous.
and I did not understand how daylight savings worked as a kid
I
too.
neither.
I remember
And I
just
didn't
being
get why.
Yeah. yeah.
I don't think we do nowadays.
Nobody does. They keep talking about getting rid of it.
I think there was a reason for it years and however many years ago it's been since they came up with it. But now it was just kind of like, why do we do this?
Benjamin Franklin came up with it.
Oh, well, he was smart.
He's a smart guy.
Back at the cemetery.
Binks.
Binks! Billy catches up to the children, cuts open his stitched mouth with Max's knife, and reveals he hates Winifred and is on their side. The witches snatch Danny back after attacking the children from afar, and Winifred attempts to use their last vial of potion to suck out Danny's life force. Binks attacks Winifred to make her drop the potion, resulting in her throwing him onto the ground and mortally wounding him.
When he cuts open his mouth and the moths come flying out,
Yeah.
how do you think they did that?
I know how they did it.
How did they do that?
It was real moth.
No way.
They said that because I was reading something about or watching something about Doug Jones, but they said they put like this thing in his mouth and then they put the moths inside that. That way they wouldn't get wet. And then he opens up his mouth and like coughs out and they fly away.
No,
That's disgusting.
way.
I watched, like, it was like a special features on it or something. I was like, oh my, he has real bugs.
Dedicated character.
Because he
Dedicated
talks
actor
to
right there.
Max and he's just like, he says something. He goes, yeah, whatever. He's like, just don't breathe on me. It's like, because he's like, oh, dead guy breath.
Ugh.
Nasty.
Could you imagine how bad that would be? We've smelt some bad things in our career.
I gotta say though, the preservation tactics of like the 1600s were really good
Yeah,
because
300-year-old
he's not a
dead guy.
skeleton. He's not dust.
He's still juicy.
juicy. He must have been eaten by scarabs.
But I would like, before they got to this part, the fact they use salt. It's like supernatural. Everything takes salt.
yeah,
Could
what's
you
her name?
imagine at the end of the movie and Impala just pulls up? and like,
Well, guess y'all did good here.
it's just like, huh, you guys hunters?
Allison with like she's like shaking the crap out of this, spouting around. Yeah, like, woo.
And then, which is like, oh,
In his
she
bedroom,
knows.
they actually use the same scene twice when
Yeah,
she's
I seen
spinning.
that. I
'Cause
seen
it's like the exact same movement.
There's a couple of like lame camera tricks they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Max.
I was gonna say real quick. That was another scene that kind of creeped me out as a kid. Is when the witches sneak into their
Burst
house.
through the thing. They cut the.
Well,
yeah, when
it's
they-
almost like the Hook thing.
Yeah,
like
when they cut the screen, I was
she's
like, "Oh, that's creepy."
Yeah, at the end of this movie, like from an adult standpoint, you're like, I don't know if they knew what they're kind of like. It's a funny, goofy kids movie, but then like there's some like cut. Remember the trailer for this movie? You don't remember it because they do that. They show
Yeah,
that.
it had more. It
Scare
felt more
stuff.
serious.
Yeah, and you're like, what are they? What?
And that's like, it's Disney.
Yeah, I can't figure out what. Put my finger on it.
Like with Hook, with like, they close the door and it's like the message to Peter Pan with the knife
Right.
stuck through the door, and it's like the kids be kids like, oh.
All right, now that we've traumatized the children,
Robin Williams.
That's a movie we should do eventually.
We do that one. Binks.
thanks.
All right, but he attacks Winifred. She drops the potion. He gets thrown to the ground and is mortally wounded, which he got ran over by a car. And just.
Well, because it wasn't from the witches.
My sister would always cry when that happened. I'm like, he's gonna come back. And she still ball her eyes out.
And then that's why she threw you on the ice.
Yeah.
Max catches and drinks the potion to save Danny. Winifred takes Max on her broomstick to suck out his life force.
Like Jello.
And the two of them fight in midair. The rest of the party fend off Mary and Sarah, while Max and Winifred fall off the broom to the hallowed ground of the cemetery, causing Winifred to turn onto stone.
Okay, so at the beginning of this, how did they get the bullies in the cages before they went off to the graveyard?
They just grab him. It happens off camera.
I like how she like runs up to his foot. He's like, "Witch, get off my shoe!"
Yeah.
And like,
Well, no,
sorry.
they show that they run into him.
Yeah, they run into
But they
him. But
grab him and then
Yeah.
how do they get him in the cage?
Yeah, they threw him there.
Because
Because they're back on like a dust broom, and like a vacuum
the
cleaner.
vacuum cleaner. I love that. That's
So
hilarious.
funny.
Then they have like Roombas in this
'Cause, like,
stupid
yeah,
sequel.
yeah.
And the sequel, they had Roombas, a Swiffer, and a broom.
So stupid.
It is very dumb. The sun rises, turning Mary and Sarah into dust, with Winifred's stone body also exploding into dust shortly after. With the witches vanquished, Bill gratefully returns to his grave and passes away.
Yeah.
Danny discovers the body of Binks and begins to weep, but his spirit, now free and returned to human form due to the curse being broken thanks to children, Emily's spirit then appears and escorts her brother to the afterlife.
Will they live happily ever after?
What you're reading there reminds me like the Knight's Tale. His body is there, but his soul is extinguished. When they're talking about the guy at the very beginning of the movie that's died.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to explain to him why the guy's dead. That's kind of brought me that.
I just like it. Me and Rachel joke about in Peaky Blinders at the end where Tommy shoots Michael.
Okay.
And then Alfie Solomon shows up just out of nowhere for no reason. Hasn't been in the show like the entire year. And he just strolls in and he like looks out the window at him. He's just like, oh, look at him, the little, CUNT. He's like just ascending into heaven. It's like every time someone dies at the Rachel's like, look, little ascending into heaven.
Well, one thing I was going to say is like, as they're going to save Danny, they pull out of the house in their SUV and all these kids are walking in one direction. They're driving in the other. One, why are they going in opposite directions? Because the kids are supposed to be going to the witches. And two, how do they not hit all these kids that are like
They
days?
did. It was just off camera.
Yeah,
You're
3
right.
of them were ran over. Don't talk about it. In a mid-credits scene, the enchanted adults are freed from the spell and leave the Halloween party, exhausted from dancing all night. Some bullies that were earlier trapped in the Sanderson Museum still wait to be
row your boat.
While the living eye on the witch's spellbook opens and looks around, suggesting the Sanderson sisters may return.
Yeah, for what,
2022.
No, that was
Because it was
30
29.
years.
Yeah.
No, it was 29 years later. and
29 years.
we watched it last night, and it wasn't great. And because I had not seen it, and Rachel's like, "Why didn't they just wait one more year?"
Because they weren't.
So it
they
could
were
be-
afraid one of the witches
Sanderson.
might not make it.
You know they were talking about doing a third one.
They're still talking about it.
If they were going to do a second one, they should have did it in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because none of like the
or at least early 2000s.
Max, Danny, Allison, none of them are in it.
Yeah. I don't think Thora Birch like acts anymore. I think she's out.
Yeah, I think like same with like the girl from like Matilda.
Yeah.
Did some 90s movies, doesn't do anything anymore.
Well, right here at the end of the movie, kind of like we had talked about earlier, why did Winifred just completely ignore all the kids? She could have saved herself and then gotten Danny the next night, but instead ignored all the kids just to go get Danny.
She was blinded by rage.
Bye.
I don't want to say she got some heck of a grip strength. She just like lifts Max up
Yeah.
in the air.
Yeah.
She's
It really
like
makes me
holding on
wonder,
to him.
is she the only one with powers?
No, because
Because the other two don't do anything.
Yeah, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sarah
can-
lures him in. She
yeah.
sings.
Well, she does that, but she doesn't like shoot lightning, no super strength, no
I don't know.
witchness.
The other witch, she can make anything a broom and fly on it.
Yeah.
Vacuum cleaner, a dog, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Pretty much. But yeah, that's something I wrote down about Billy. I was like, they had real moths in his mouth. That's pretty.
That is
gross.
wild.
Yeah.
That is wild. I mean, it's a great movie. It's very quintessential '90s, like nostalgia culture.
It's still good in 2025.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's still a fun watch. Kids still like this.
You think the sequel impacts the original?
Yes.
Yeah.
Having seen the sequel, yes, because I'm like, yeah, the first one's way better.
Because my kids, they want to see the original, and then because there is a second one, and they've seen it before, they want to see it, too. Because why not? But I'm like, ugh.
To me, we kind of talked about it before we started recording, but the second one, it wasn't good, but it would have been better if they didn't include them as children. Because like I don't need to know what the three of
Their
them,
backstory,
were like as
nonsense
kids.
was.
Oh, yeah. That's quintessential. Let's expound on these characters. We're going to show them as kids, kind of thing. I forgot all about that.
And then they made them sympathetic, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, my sisters.
Yeah.
You're evil. Just be evil."
Yeah.
It's like you knew Satan personally.
Master.
Well, I do have some trivia. I have 15 questions.
All right.
At least y'all mostly know these.
Book.
You're like,
Binks. Binks.
There you go. Do that one.
I'll do that one.
Binks. I like how we set these up as we're recording. All right. Number one. How long were the Sanderson? Yes.
300.
I was
years.
first.
You were? I couldn't even hear it.
Go ahead, Tom.
300 years.
Yes.
Nah, that's what I said too, but whatever.
I'll give it a hate.
Ah, there.
What? Number two. The three sisters' names were?
Winifred,
Uh-huh.
Mary,
Yeah.
and is it Sarah?
Yeah. I was like, that's the one we just talked about.
Sarah was played by Sarah Jessica Parker.
Number four. What was Thackeray's sister?
Emily.
Yes. What was Thackeray's sister's name?
He's got to get quicker.
And since I skipped over number
not
three, what did Winifred kill Billy for?
He was cheating on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Sarah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Binks! Look, you just failed. You failed at life. Number five. The witch's potion needs...
Uh,
Yeah, hold on, I heard his
all
first.
right.
You want me to read the rest of the question?
No.
A live child.
No.
It needs Eye of Newt, and was it a frog tongue or something like that?
A human toe.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
It does need a human toe. Yeah.
I was gonna say
Fresh.
The witch's
Fresh.
The witch's potion needs what? A dead man's what? It was toes.
Penis.
All right. Let's see. Number six.
Dead man's toe. Dead man's toe.
What song do the bullies sing in the cage?
Row, row, row your boat.
Come on, I had it first.
All you gotta hear is that.
I can't tell for sure if I'm hearing his first or yours.
So just give it to me.
His doesn't make enough noise.
Oh, yeah?
Let's see. Where was I? Number seven. What candy did the master give?
A Butterfinger,
No.
Heath bar.
No.
Twix,
No.
Clark bar.
Yes.
ah,
I don't even know what a Clark bar is, but
clock,
number eight. What color is associated?
green,
No.
Purple.
No.
red.
Yes, with Mary. Good job. Let's see. Number nine.
I'm sorry,
So stupid.
Who gets the nickname Hollywood?
Max.
Yours just sounds like static. Let's see. Number 10. What song does Winifred sing?
I put a spell on you.
Darn it. Yes, beat it.
All right. Number 11.
No, it wasn't that. That's Michael Jackson.
What can be used to protect...
Salt.
Yes. What can be used to protect from the witches? Salt. Number 12. What What does Winifred hate being called?
Winnie.
No.
Bucktooth.
No.
Witch.
It's very simple.
Oh. Old hag.
No.
Old.
No.
I thought it was hag.
She does get called that, but that's not what she says hurts her feelings.
Oh.
Ugly.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
He calls you. What, she said that thing ugly. Oh, you didn't have to say it. Let's see. Number 13. What's the cover of the spellbook made of?
Human skin.
Yes.
I said it first. I got it first.
Number 14. What centuries were the witches from?
17th century.
Yes. Number 15. What happens to Winifred?
She gets turned into a statue.
Yeah. I was gonna say what happens to her first before the sun rises. Yeah. Tom wins by 3.
Darn it. Woo! Darn it.
Just a little hocus pocus.
All right, let's do the trivia for Hocus Pocus 2.
No.
We're good.
We're fine. We don't need to go into that movie.
Well, there you go. There's some, and we got some more Halloween movies we're gonna talk about.
I think we're gonna try and get Sinners as one of these weeks here soon, and then we'll see what other movies we come up with first.
And if you have some ideas,
yeah, if you've got ideas, because I put out a poll for the movie Sinners, and you got 1 out of the 4 movies that we listed. So next person to let me know.
we should do a bad movie also at some point, like we did Halloween 4. I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
we should do another bad movie. Let's do a zombie.
We could do Night of the Living Dead or Return to the Living Dead.
Brain choke on it.
Yeah, something like that. I think it'd be fun. I don't know.
We can find one.
What do you think, listener?
What do you think, audience?
Choke on it.
It was just nice to have a little input from the audience of their poll that I put out.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate the input. And we'll see you at the booth.
Yeah.
Goodbye from me and Hayden.
Bye.
Goodbye from Mitch.
Bye.
And goodbye from Tom.
Bye.
Boo.
Boo Fest, October 24th. Downtown Lawrenceville. Be there or be square. Propane.